The Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, has already arrested nearly 80% of the total number of arrests it made in China-related cases this year, as it did in all of 2019. FBI counterintelligence chief John Brown told a conference at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, in Washington on the 5th of February that the Bureau had already arrested 19 people in cases in which the Chinese government was involved in the first 37 days of 2020, compared to 24 in all of last year and 15 5 years earlier. Brown said, "We believe that no country poses a greater threat than Communist China. Today, investigations related to China make up a greater percentage of our counterintelligence workload than at any other time in the FBI's history." FBI Director Christopher Wray said that China was seeking to steal U.S. technology by any means necessary, and the law enforcement agency has about 1,000 investigations open into Chinese technology theft across its 56 regional offices. He stated that the threat from China was diverse and multi-layered. He added that China takes advantage of academic openness in the U.S. to steal technology using campus proxies and through the establishment of institutes on our campuses. Senior U.S. counterintelligence official William Evanina told the same conference that China was placing priority on stealing U.S. aircraft and electric vehicle technology. He's estimated that Chinese theft of trade secrets cost the U.S. hundreds of billions of dollars annually, and warned that the long-term existential threat to the security of our nation is real. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes 3 ways China is waging a silent war against the U.S. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. The Chinese government has encouraged its student fraternity to get educated in the U.S. and mingle into the U.S. system. The Center for Immigration Studies called foreign student visas a weak point in national security and pointed a finger at China as a key abuser of the system, a claim made by several other immigration and national security groups. It said that the explosion of student visas to STEM schools takes positions that U.S. students can use and puts potential spies inside institutions that have key national security ties to the U.S. government. In its report, it stated that an unknown number of them also engage in activities hostile to our country and communities. These activities range from participation in terrorism to espionage. Some of them are sleepers put into place to be activated either by order of their masters or upon some specific triggering event. While the percentage and number of such individuals is undoubtedly small, it takes only a few aliens intent on serious harm to the United States to create a national tragedy. The center suggested that the administration put new limits on student and exchange visas and punish colleges and universities with high numbers of foreign students who overstay their visas. The report said that nearly 70,000 foreign students overstayed their visas in 2017. Chinese students were first with 18,075. Several Chinese in the U.S. are in the payroll of the Chinese government. These people have been used to gather information on vital military installations in the U.S. On the 26th of December last year, a Chinese man in the United States was caught snapping photos of Naval Air Station in Key West, Florida. The man went to the area early and started snapping clips of the sensitive location. As per reports, at about 6:50 a.m., some people in the vicinity saw him walking around a perimeter fence and entering the military facility from the rocks along the water. They even warned him that he was trespassing in a restricted site, which is also known as the Truman Annex. In the meantime, the U.S. military police noticed it and swung into action. U.S. military police approached him and checked out the photos on his mobile phone. The police officers immediately called a federal agent. The federal agent arrested Lau on a charge of entering the naval property for the purpose of photographing defense installations. According to the complaint affidavit, Lau agreed to waive his Miranda rights and told the agent with the Naval Criminal Investigative Service in broken English that he was trying to take photographs of the sunrise. But his lie was caught immediately when he provided the passcode to his cell phone and allowed the agent to look at the images. The agent observed photographs of the Truman Annex on camera. Beginning in the winter of 2009, two Chinese hackers began sending malicious emails to Boeing employees, disguised to look as if they came from familiar people. Even if one employee opened the email and downloaded the attached file, it could give hackers a portal to secrets, corporate and U.S. Department of Defense plans, engineering details, and potentially classified Pentagon files stored on Boeing networks. And that's exactly what happened. Over the next 2 years, hackers stole some 630,000 files from Boeing related to the C-17, the third most expensive plane that the Pentagon's ever developed, with research and development costs of $3.4 billion. They obtained detailed drawings, measurements of the wings and fuselage and other parts, outlines of the pipeline and electric wiring systems, and even flight test data. On the 26th of January 2013, Chinese copy of C-17 Y-20 Doppelganger first flew. Currently, 8 are in service, with more production planned for the future. China obtained more than 50 terabytes of data from U.S. defense and government networks, notably the Joint Strike Fighter's stealth radar and engine secrets, through cyber espionage. The NSA, or National Security Agency, estimated that the Chinese had conducted more than 30,000 cyber attacks as part of the massive defense industrial espionage, and that more than 500 attacks were significant. In all, the NSA concluded that the Chinese compromised key components of the F-35. For example, design details of AN/APG-81 active electronically scanned array radar for the F-35 has been stolen. Importantly, critical aspects of F-35 stealth capability moved to the Chinese hand. The Chinese stole data on the methods used by the turbine to cool gases emitted by F-35's engine, as well as other heat reduction techniques. China's Chengdu J-20 has been developed to an extent by stealing data of the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. In the 1980s, China purchased 24 civilian versions of the Black Hawk. They got some insights about design, but were not able to do much since these did not contain secret components like the military version. This changed in 2011. Pakistan gave China access to the previously unknown U.S. stealth Sikorsky UH-60 Black Hawk helicopter that crashed during the commando raid which killed Osama bin Laden in May. This was done despite explicit requests from the CIA not to. It's believed that Chinese experts took detailed photographs of the design and, more importantly, collected the sample of the stealth coating which is used to hide the craft from radars. During the 5th China Helicopter Exposition in Tianjin, China showcased Z-20. The Z-20 is expected to replace several helicopters in the People's Liberation Army service, including the Super Freelance. Z-20 helicopter looks very much similar to American UH-60 Black Hawk. In the late 1980s, AM General, a major vehicle manufacturer based in Indiana, wanted to sell the high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicle, also known as the Humvee, to the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA. The PLA rejected the offer and picked up one Humvee that was left by AM General in China. They also gathered a few civilian Humvees that Chinese oil companies had bought in the 1990s. Using reverse engineering, they built a prototype and named it Dongfeng EQ-2050 Brave Soldier. Variants of this have been developed for civilian and military use.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.